Steffi Graf was in the stands. She had seen everything tennis has to offer: 22 Grand Slam titles, decades of the sport at its highest level, crowds from every country. She doesn't freeze easily. She doesn't lose composure over small moments. But when Eala spoke German to a ball kid during a changeover, Graf went completely still. No applause, no reaction, just stillness. The kind that happens when something genuinely surprises someone who thought they'd already seen it all. The 50,000 people in the stadium didn't go still. They erupted. And the gap between those two reactions tells you everything about what actually happened in that moment. To understand why it hit that hard, you have to start with a version of this story that almost nobody talks about. In the more likely version of Eala's life, she never makes it to Berlin. She grows up in the Philippines, competes at the national level, maybe stands out locally, and then quietly disappears from the global picture. Not because she lacked ability, because the system that produces professional tennis players wasn't designed with her in mind. Tennis follows a well-worn path. The same regions produce most of the stars: Europe, the United States, occasionally Australia. Players from those places grow up inside structures built specifically for them. Elite coaching from early ages, strong junior competition, clear pathways into the professional circuit. The money flows toward them. The scouts look there first. Southeast Asia exists largely outside that system. Funding is limited. International exposure is rare. And even when real talent surfaces, it rarely gets the same early investment. Players from those regions don't just have to be good. They have to be exceptional simply to get noticed. So, when Eala's family decided to send her to Spain to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy, they weren't making a calculated career move. They were making a gamble with no guaranteed return. Different country, different culture, different language, no safety net. The academy is one of the most demanding environments in professional tennis. Every player there is talented, every player is competing for attention, and the level of intensity doesn't leave room for gradual adjustment. She adjusted anyway. What she found at the academy wasn't just better coaching or stronger competition, though both were there. She found herself living inside a genuinely multilingual, multicultural environment in a way that most young athletes never experience. Players from dozens of countries training and living in the same space. Spanish as the working language. Tournaments across Europe requiring constant adaptation to new cities, new audiences, new dynamics. Most players in that environment keep their focus narrow. Train, compete, recover, repeat. Everything else is secondary. Eala absorbed the everything else. Her Spanish became fluent. The travel across Europe, Germany, France, Italy, the UK, wasn't just logistical movement from one tournament to the next. It became a kind of education in how different cultures respond to the same sport. She learned to read rooms quickly, to connect with people who had no particular reason to connect with her, to exist comfortably in spaces where she was clearly the outsider. That's not a skill coaches teach. It develops through genuine curiosity and genuine attention, repeated over years without anyone measuring it or rewarding it. No ranking points for cultural fluency, no headlines about it. But it was building. By the time she arrived in Berlin, she had already spent years moving through European tennis environments. The stadium, the crowd, the formal structure of a professional match. None of it was unfamiliar territory. What was different was the scale. 50,000 people, a city with a deep tennis identity, and somewhere in the stands, one of the sport's greatest players watching quietly. The match itself was competitive and closely contested, but unremarkable in the way that most matches are when the crowd is waiting for something to crystallize. Good tennis, tight games, nothing that pointed toward a moment people would be describing weeks later. Then the changeover came. Players sit down, they towel off, drink water, reset mentally. The crowd relaxes. Ball kids move around the court doing their jobs, largely invisible to most of the audience. It's the part of a tennis match specifically designed to be forgettable. A young German ball kid came over to Eala's side of the court. A normal exchange was about to have a brief, functional interaction, the kind that happens dozens of times in every professional match and leaves no impression on anyone. Except she didn't respond in English, she spoke German. Not cautiously, not with the halting quality of someone working through memorized phrases. Fluently, naturally, with the ease of someone who uses the language regularly and isn't thinking about it. She looked at the kid, said something warm and direct, and went back to her preparation. The ball kid froze for a half second, then smiled in the specific way people smile when something genuinely surprises them. The front rows caught it first. A murmur started, then spread section by section through the stadium as people passed the information to each other. Did she just speak German? By the time the full crowd understood what had happened, the eruption was already underway. People stood up, phones came out from every direction. Some hadn't even heard the words clearly, but could feel the shift in energy and reacted to that. And Eala? She stayed calm. A slight smile, nothing more. No performance, no acknowledgement of the reaction she had just triggered. She finished her water and prepared to go back on court. That restraint made it hit even harder, because the crowd had just witnessed the exact opposite of what professional sports usually delivers. Most moments in high-profile tennis are constructed. The celebrations are practiced, the crowd interactions are planned, the media-trained responses are designed to land a specific way. Players know how to work a room. They learn it early. This wasn't that. There was no strategic calculation behind speaking German to a ball kid. No one told her to do it. No media consultant suggested it would play well with a Berlin crowd. She simply spoke to someone in their language because she could, because it was natural to her, and because it didn't occur to her not to. The absence of performance is exactly what the audience felt. In a sport where almost every visible interaction has been filtered through some layer of professional presentation, this moment had none of that filtering. It was immediate and unmediated. Fans don't just respond to skill. Skill is everywhere at the professional level. What they remember are moments that feel human, moments where the distance between a player and the people watching them collapses without warning. That's what happened in Berlin. And that's why 50,000 people stood up during a changeover. Back in the stands, Steffi Graf remained still while everyone around her reacted. Her stillness wasn't absence of response. It was a different kind of response, the kind that happens when you process something rather than simply react to it. Graf knows what German tennis crowds feel like. She built her entire career in that environment. She understands the specific way German fans connect with players who represent something to them. The language, the history, the cultural identity that runs through how the sport is experienced here. That connection has always existed between German fans and German players. What she watched in that moment was a player from the Philippines, trained in Spain, creating that same connection in a stadium full of German fans. Not by being German, not by having any natural claim to it, but by having paid enough attention over enough years to show up in a way that felt genuinely respectful. That's not something you see often. And Graf has seen enough to know the difference between a player performing connection and a player who actually has it. The moment likely registered as something specific to her. Presence. Not the manufactured kind, not the coached kind, but the kind that comes from a person who understands where they are, respects it, and acts accordingly. Every great player eventually develops some version of it. Most do it within the context of their own culture and background. Watching someone do it across cultures, as a visitor, without any obvious reason to have made that investment, that's unusual enough to make someone who has seen everything go quiet. The clip spread fast after the match. Different angles, different fan reactions, but the same feeling across all of them. People who don't follow tennis closely watched and understood immediately what was significant about it. That kind of reach doesn't happen because someone played a good match. It happens because something human came through. Eala didn't change her ranking in those 30 seconds. She didn't win a title or set a record. What she did was remind an entire stadium, and then a much larger audience online, that the most memorable moments in sports aren't always the ones that show up in a box score. Sometimes they're the ones that happen when someone speaks 2 words in the right language to the right person at the right moment and means it. When her results start matching that presence, and there's no reason to think they won't, that moment in Berlin might end up being the detail people point to when they explain what made her different. Was this just a nice moment for you? Or did it change how you see her? Drop your take below. Subscribe for more stories about the players and moments that are reshaping what sports actually means.